You ever get that like sinking feeling? You know when a promise just completely falls apart?
Oh, yeah.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
But what if I told you that there's way more to broken promises than just those like hurt feelings?
Mm.
Today we're going deep
Yeah.
into a text that looks at like the spiritual side
Okay.
and even the ethical implications of actually keeping your word. And trust me, this one gets pretty deep.
Oh, wow. I'm intrigued.
It's fascinating how this source frames trust
Yeah.
as the bedrock of like all relationships,
Yeah.
not just between people,
Uh-huh.
but also like our connection with the divine.
Right. Yeah.
So think about it for a sec.
Okay.
How often do broken promises like make you question somebody's character?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah,
Even if it's something small.
totally. But what like really hit me in the source
Yeah.
was how it connects those everyday promises
Mm-hmm.
to the idea of vowing unto God from Ecclesiastes.
Mhm.
You know that passage about how it's better to not make a vow at all than to make one and break it?
Right, right.
I'm curious, how do you see that applying to like our modern lives?
That's a good question. Such a powerful analogy. The text seems to be arguing that all promises, no matter who they're made to,
Yeah,
have a certain weight to them.
right.
Breaking them isn't just about letting somebody down.
Yeah.
It's about damaging that foundation of trust
Right.
that's so important for any relationship that really matters.
So even like flaking on plans with a friend could have like deeper implications.
Exactly. And the source takes it even further,
Oh,
referencing Matthew 5.37, where Jesus actually advocates for straightforward communication. Let your yes be yes and your no be no.
Yeah, I've heard that one.
The text suggests that anything more than that could come from a place of deceit.
That makes me think about all those times we overpromise
Oh, yeah.
or we agree to things we don't even want to do
Uh-huh.
just to avoid like being difficult.
Mhm.
Is that what the text is getting at?
I think so. It's a call for authenticity in how we interact with people, making sure that our words actually match up with our actions.
Right.
And it's not just about avoiding outright lies. It's about those subtle ways we might manipulate or mislead others,
Yeah.
even if we don't mean to.
Okay, so honesty and clear communication are key.
Yeah.
But the source doesn't shy away from like the dark side of broken promises either, right?
No, it doesn't.
I mean, it goes right into the story of Judas's betrayal.
It does. And it doesn't sugarcoat how serious that was.
Yeah.
What's interesting is how the source interprets what Jesus said
Yeah.
about Judas.
Yeah.
That it would have been better for him to never have been born.
Right.
It goes beyond just condemning the betrayal and
Yeah.
digs into the spiritual consequences of
Oh, yeah.
breaking trust that badly.
That's heavy. And then it uses the Israelites' unfaithfulness as another example.
Yeah.
I'm sensing a theme here.
Okay.
That these broken promises have far-reaching consequences,
Yeah.
even affecting our relationship with the divine.
Absolutely. But before we jump to conclusions and label everyone who breaks a promise as inherently bad,
Right.
the source wants us to look deeper into why people do these things.
Okay, so why do people break promises?
Yeah.
Is it always a conscious choice to be deceitful?
Hmm.
Or are there other things going on?
That's a great question, and that's what we'll look at next.
I'm really interested in those motivations behind broken promises.
Yeah.
What kind of insights does the source give us?
Well, it highlights a few key things.
Okay.
And some of them might surprise you.
Okay.
Self-interest is a big one, of course.
Right.
The source points to Proverbs,
Okay.
where it says that one of the things God hates is a false witness who speaks lies.
Yeah.
This suggests that some people put personal gain above everything else, even if it means hurting others and being dishonest.
That makes sense, especially in a world where ambition and competition are so valued.
Right.
But what about those times when it's not about being malicious, but more about weakness or just taking the easy way out?
That's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
The source brings up the story of the rich young ruler who
Yeah.
couldn't follow Jesus
Right.
because it meant giving up all his wealth and comfort.
Right.
It says that sometimes
Yeah.
broken promises come from putting things like convenient status or even pride
Yeah.
above keeping our commitments.
Yeah. That really hits home for me.
Yeah.
I think we've all been there,
Oh, yeah.
choosing what's easy, even if it means letting someone down.
Absolutely. And it's not always a conscious decision.
Right.
We might tell ourselves we're doing what's best or come up with reasons for what we did
Yeah.
to avoid facing how hard it is to keep a tough promise.
So it's not always so clear-cut.
Right.
There's a lot to it.
Mm-hmm.
A mix of pressure from the outside and things going on inside us
Yeah.
that can lead us to break our word.
Exactly. And I think that's why the source tries to understand why people do it. Instead of just judging them, it's about recognizing that we all mess up sometimes.
Right.
And that even little choices can have big consequences.
This is all pretty heavy stuff.
It is.
I'm already thinking about my own actions and the promises I've made and broken.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the other side of things?
Yeah.
How do we deal with the fallout when someone breaks a promise to us?
That's where the source gets really practical.
Okay, I love practical advice.
Yeah.
What does it suggest?
The first thing is to trust in a higher justice.
Yeah?
It uses Romans 12.19, which says, "Vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord."
Right.
It's not about saying what they did was okay,
Yeah.
but about letting go of the need to take revenge.
So it's about letting go of that anger and trusting that things will work out in the end.
Exactly. Holding on to anger only hurts us,
Right.
and it doesn't guarantee a resolution.
Yeah.
The source says to let go of that burden and focus on healing.
That's easier said than done,
Yes.
especially when you're still hurting. But I can see how it would be better in the long run.
Right.
What's the next thing in this toolkit?
It's about knowing when to walk away.
Okay.
The source uses a proverb that says to go from the presence of a foolish man.
Right.
Basically, forgiveness doesn't mean you have to stay in bad situations or
Yeah.
keep giving second chances to people who aren't trustworthy.
That's hard,
It is.
but so important.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to protect yourself,
Right.
even if it means ending a relationship.
Absolutely. You have to recognize that you have a responsibility to take care of yourself.
Right.
Forgiveness is powerful,
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean putting up with being hurt over and over or accepting bad behavior.
This is really speaking to me.
Yeah.
I think we often feel like we have to forgive and forget, even when it's not good for us.
Mm-hmm.
But the source seems to be saying it's okay to put our own peace and safety first.
Exactly. And the last tool builds on that.
Okay.
It's about guarding your heart against bitterness. The source uses Ephesians and says to let all bitterness and wrath and anger be put away from you. So it's not about pretending you don't feel those things,
Right.
but about choosing not to let them control you.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It's about realizing that holding on to bitterness only hurts you in the end.
Yeah.
Forgiveness here is as much about self-care
Right.
as it is about showing grace to the person who hurt you.
Wow. This is all so insightful.
It is.
I feel like we've gone beyond just talking about broken promises and really gotten into the complexities of trust, betrayal, and responsibility.
I agree. The source makes us think about how much our words matter and the impact they have on ourselves and other people.
And it gives us some really helpful advice
It does.
for dealing with these difficult situations, both when we're the ones who break a promise and when someone breaks a promise to us.
Right. It's about recognizing that we're all human. We all make mistakes.
Yeah, but we can also learn from them and build stronger relationships based on trust and doing the right thing.
It's easy to get caught up in like the big dramatic betrayals.
Right.
But I think this source also shows how important those smaller everyday promises are.
Yeah, it's like each broken promise, even the small ones, can wear away at trust over time.
Right.
It's easy to just brush off those little things, like canceling plans last minute or not doing something you said you would.
Right.
But they all add up to a pattern.
You're right. It's about realizing that consistency and follow-through are key for building strong relationships.
Absolutely.
Even those little promises can affect how believable we are and how people see us.
Exactly. And on the other hand, keeping those smaller promises can actually make those bonds of trust stronger.
Right. It's about showing up.
Yeah.
Even those little interactions, showing that our word actually means something.
It does.
This source has given us so much to think about.
It really is.
It reminds us that our words have power.
Yeah.
And that integrity isn't just about those big gestures.
Right.
It's about being real and true to yourself in every interaction.
Absolutely. It's about matching our actions to our words all the time and realizing that even small choices can have a big impact on the trust we build with others and ourselves.
We hope this deep dive has made you think about your own approach to promises
Yeah.
and how they fit into your life. Remember, it's never too late to start being more intentional with what you say and what you do,
Right.
and building that foundation of trust and integrity in all your relationships.
It's been great exploring this with you.
It has.
As always, we encourage you to keep the conversation going.
Yeah.
Share your thoughts, your experiences,
Right.
those moments when things really clicked for you.
Yeah.
Let's keep learning and growing together.